Welcome. Way here, priestess, and I'm being called to talk about Egypt. I'm just gonna let what drops in, drops in. This is just how I work now. So let us see. Let us see what wants to be revealed in this moment, in this transmission. I'm getting the energy of Sekhmet dropping in. Understanding that this serves the collective, this serves the highest and best good of all, that this is divinely channeled through the Most High God. True creation. There's something around true creation, and that's saying that true creation requires sacrifice. And maybe what that means or doesn't mean. As ancient ones, as weavers, as creators of reality, as code holders, as a temple connected to Sekhmet. There's just a lot of Egyptian energy flowing through right now. I'm seeing the temple doors, and around it, there's light language, hieroglyphically placed around the doors. There's also some like beetles, you know, made out of jewels, topaz, topaz beetles, scarabs, I believe they're called as well. There's an energy of fertility connected, and maybe not literal fertility, but where a woman's pregnant and, wanting to have a child could also be that. But again, the creative process. Mm, okay, the parallel being when a woman gives birth, when she is creating life in that format, right? There is a sacrifice. The sacrifice being her old self, right? She sacrifices the identity of who she was before she gives birth, before she creates life, before she takes on title of mother, right? Before she adds that to her being, there is a sacrifice of the self, of the old self. And so in that is one aspect of creation that's being brought through, right? To create powerfully, there is sacrifice. Mm, okay. I don't know why it's making me emotional. Um, of the old self. You must sacrifice who you currently are now to step into the new, to step into what you're creating, to be a vessel for that, to be birthed through. And you won't be the same on the other side of that, right? Like Michelangelo wasn't the same version of himself before he began David as he was on the other side of it, right? It's like the creation process, the art changes who you are. It must. That's what good art is. That is what the highest levels of creation demands. It demands a piece of you, and it demands that you evolve with it. You are so entwined with the creation process that you can't help but be shifted and evolve as a part of it, right? And it's not as trivial as just putting, in the sense of art, right? Putting paintbrush to paper or canvas, or if you are, a healer, creating through the modality that you are tapping into, or maybe it's unveiling your own modality. That is all creation. There's something powerful here. There's also a message around the dark. Uh, so the light, as you are here, you are working for the light. I'm a priestess of the light, right? And the true light. And the dark always mimics us, right? The dark wants to be us so bad. And they always reverse and revert the true divine creations, right? It's really hilarious, actually, when you begin to see it. Like they really just want to be us so bad, but can't follow the same process, right? They're just not willing to sacrifice themselves in it. So they must sacrifice other things, sacrifice others, right? This is where the whole dark ritualistic practices come into play. And I'll let you fill in the blanks as to what that is, right? When I say that word, sacrifice. And we're seeing a lot of that now playing out in the collective. The collective at large is being made privy to what those with knowledge and the eyes to see have always seen and always known, right? So that message also wanted to come in, right? If you are not willing to become part of the sacrifice in terms of creation, right? If you're not willing to give of yourself and evolve and become something new, you do what the dark does, right? Which is sacrifice something or someone else in your place because creation requires it. So, where is the source of your sacrifice coming from? That determines what team you play for, that determines who you're being, and that ultimately determines the length or the duration or the stability and the longevity of what you are creating, right? I've made this parallel with a lot of clients lately. Sometimes we take a little bit longer, right? Those of us who walk the divine path and follow divine law and are here to create good, to create sacred works, sacred architecture, sacred grids, sacred creation. Sometimes we can feel things take longer, and they sometimes often, very often do, right? And part of the reason is the fact that what we're here to create will last not just your lifetime, but lifetimes, right? I kind of compare it to where I live. We kind of say the McMansions, right? Where they build these little mansions everywhere that go up really quickly that kind of look the part, but they're kind of also like cardboard cutouts in terms of they kind of all look alike. They follow the same kind of structure, the same kind of finishings, right? It's a thing. Like it's just a thing right now. And the nickname is McMansion. So these McMansions go up really quickly, but then it's like you notice, within 5 years, somebody else buys that same McMansion, tears it down, and puts up their own. Right? They put up their own McMansion. They don't last. These buildings, this architecture doesn't last. Whereas what you and I are creating and building is, the Taj Mahal. It's going to be here for a very, very long time. And the McMansion goes up really quickly. It goes up within a year, maybe 6 months, and it comes down within five. The Taj Mahal took almost a lifetime to build, if I'm not correct. And it's lasted for hundreds of years, right? It's something that is so beautiful and sacred and built out of love that it is, it has so much fortitude, it has so much strength, it endures. And that's also the message coming through is like what you create will last lifetimes. And so in that creation process, it can be a bit longer. Whereas, the dark or people who are not as, not walking the same path as us, right? They can kind of create in flashes. They can create things really quickly, but you notice they very quickly can be uncreated, right? There's no stability. There's no longevity. Um, there's not a powerful energetic backing because the backing came from the will of that person alone and not the will of God, not the will of the divine, not of source. And so again, there's a shorter half-life. If it's just you and your energy creating something, that can very quickly be snuffed out, right? As soon as that person's attention moves to something else or is just not involved, very quickly it crashes and burns, right? Because creations follow attention. Whereas if you have the attention of God on something, well, it isn't just up to you alone. It isn't just up to your willpower, right? There's a whole team. There's teams in divine realms that are also creating this with you and for you. And therefore, it's not just down to you. So if you have to be redirected or if somebody else comes in and, takes over the reins, it won't go to shit. Right? It will just continually grow and evolve because there's so many divine hands that are supporting you and holding you up and holding it up. The foundation is deeper, the foundation is wider. It's pure, it's true, it's crystalline, it's strong. Let me know in the comments if anything is resonating as I'm just channeling purely for you here. Let's see what else is coming through here. This message of creation. There's codes in this video for you. Just know that. Um, they're downloading beyond maybe your conscious awareness. Some of you will be aware, but if you're not, it's okay. It's still happening. Creativity is sacred. Creativity is sacred. Your creativity, specifically the way that you see the world, the way that you see your craft, the way that you move, the way that it moves through you is a very specific frequency, a very specific tone, and that matters. And that was a divine design. So even if you quote unquote do what somebody else does, you don't. Just like I might have my work might resonate or feel familiar to somebody else's teachings that you've encountered, but at the same time, it's different because it's me, because I'm the vessel, because, I have a specific tone, I have a specific template, the way that I show up, even for the same work, maybe the same path, the same priestess lineage, whatever it is. So don't underestimate that. There's people who are watching this, and let me know in the comments if this is you. This is people that are watching this that have looked at others' creations and gone, oh, well, somebody's already done it, right? You're being called, you're being pushed to do the work, to step outside of your comfort zone, to stretch, to express. And maybe you're going, well, somebody's already doing it. Maybe you're looking at me and you're saying, well, she's already doing it. No, no. The message is you need to do it because you do it only the way that you can. So please don't take yourself out of the game before you even begin, because this is not random. You're not being asked to stretch and to move into a space to share your voice, to share your art, to share your healing, your frequencies, your writings. You're not being asked that for no reason. And you are certainly not a copycat of other people. Even if you're talking about the same subject and you have a similar point of view as somebody else, it is not the same. And your voice and presence are very much required right now. So that was just a very specific thread. And if you received it, let me know. Yeah, this is like temple talks right now. And we're weaving something very specific together here, collectively, but also individually. So the question is, what is being required of you? What are you being required to sacrifice to the altar of creativity, right? In the positive way, in the divine way. There's an aspect of yourself that must be sacrificed so you can evolve with the creations. We as artists can't stay the same. We as mystics, creators, can't stay the same in this process. It's impossible. And that also is scary because we know that, right? So as you move along this journey more and more, when you are receiving another creative endeavor, another project, you're like, oh, I know how this goes. Something that I am clinging to has to be given willingly. And so it can be scary because we can go, well, what's going to be asked of me? And we almost don't know until it's asked. And then you have the choice to go with it or not. And most of us have already made the choice before the question's asked. Will you, even if you're fearful, even if you're scared, will you? Yes. You might take a beat. Your body might answer first. Your womb might answer first before your mind goes along with it. But the answer for us anyway is always yes. But there is also always a choice. And sometimes we can press the pause button or the mute button on our inner knowing, but it's still there. It doesn't send it anywhere. It doesn't go away. We have to answer the call. And sometimes there are other things to move into place, to consider, some emotions to work through. Granted, that's okay. But the answer always will be yes. I will fully surrender to the creation process, and whatever is asked of me, I will provide, I will release, I will surrender to, I will add to the alchemy. and become something different and new. And, if we knew ahead of time what exactly it would be, sometimes we wouldn't go. And so this is why we can't know it all, right? We can only take the steps that are being shown to us and say yes in this moment, okay? And then things shift and you grow and you create something. And then the next creation comes along and you step forward and say yes, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. And it's a beautiful and scary and terrifying and fulfilling and fun, expansive journey that we are on as ancient souls together here. So I'm just going to see if there's anything else that wants to be shared in this specific transmission for you in this new way, because usually I press record with some sort of preconceived notion, and today is the first time I haven't. And I think that that's just the way um, it's going to be for the next little while. There's definitely a heart calibration that I'm feeling as we're just wrapping this up. And these videos that I'm going to be doing now, they change you as you watch them. They change you as you watch them. So this is not just a typical, absorb information at a conscious level type video. This is a have a shift, right? Have a shift. Be shifted as you sit here, as you receive. So if you want to offer an exchange for that shift, you can comment as you're offering, or you can like, or you can share this with somebody else to complete that loop, should you feel called. So may you be sovereign, go in sovereignty, create, say yes, and become something new, become someone new through every creational endeavor through this process. It's really sacred, it's ancient, and it's a right that you have. And it's beautiful. So let me know how this video touched you. And I will talk to you soon, loves.